Hey everybody, Dr. Mike Ducey here. I'm here with Ric Drasin. I'm just going to tell you one thing. I cut my hair tonight and Ric did not. So just so you know.
I will though later.
He will. I might be looking a little different. He's a bodybuilder, professional wrestler, actor, stuntman, artist, podcast owner. He's the director and the host of the very popular Ric's Corner, over 33 million downloads. And out of all the guests I've had this second week doing this, it's going really well. John DeFemis, Troy Zucolato, Bill Grant, Mike Torsha. I'd say Ric by far he's got many more extensions and tentacles into Labyrinth than the other fellows too. He's done so many different things, but you know, everybody and anybody who's involved in any type of the weight world knows who Ric is. He's a legendary guy. We're very fortunate to have him here. People are very giving with their time. I really value time. That's all we have. And we're going to get into a lot of things here, and it's all about longevity. That's what we're interested in. And that's why we talk to all these fine folks. Ric, how are you, man?
I'm okay. I'm one step ahead of the game, I think, a little bit. You know, I have, I don't know what I have, actually. I don't know if it's an allergy or a touch of a flu bug in my stomach, but I'm tired. I get real tired, and sometimes I just fall asleep.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of injuries, and the injuries have really beaten me down the past 2 weeks. I really hurt myself a couple of times.
Yeah, we'll get into that because, you know, the pro wrestling and the lifting, and you guys, of course, went really heavy back then, and all behind the neck presses and all that kind of stuff. But let's start us off. We were talking beforehand a little bit, but you started off as a cheerleader.
I did in junior high school.
How'd that come about?
A bunch of us guys ran for it as a joke, and we won.
So you hung in the whole time?
Yeah. We got our pictures in the newspaper, the school newspaper, and it was stupid.
Yeah. You just never know. And you know, also being an artist, I mean, you started lifting weights, you said, when you were 18.
No, I started when I was around 16 or 17.
Okay, a little younger. And it was, and what was it like back then? I always like to ask anybody from back then, what did the community think about training back then with weights?
Well, I was always kind of an oddball because I did things different than most people. I was a lead guitarist and a rock band. I was very, very good at it. I got a Capitol Records contract, and I did do my own thing. It came to the weekend to go out with everybody, and I would just hit the gym. And they would say to me, you know, by the time you're 25, you're just going to turn to fat. I don't know why you even want to do this. I said, because I enjoy it. It's something I enjoy. I'm getting results, and what does it matter to you? You can work out with me.
Did you play any sports other than when you got into wrestling, like in high school?
No, I wasn't playing sports.
So you went straight to wrestling, but you did compete in bodybuilding early on.
Yeah, I dressed in front of 20 other men in the locker room.
So tell me, you know, you were part of the Gold's gym. You know, before we even get into Arnold and all that, tell us how that your designing of this very famous logo came about. In fact, is this still the #1 selling design for a t-shirt?
They have another one that came out that one of the owners came up with, but it looks like an Oscar award.
Oh,
but it doesn't
not like this.
It's very close, but that one was the top seller.
Right. Okay.
Ed Connors came up with it years ago, and it's I don't know. It looks like an Oscar you get at the Oscar Awards, but it's not the same thing.
But how that happened? You were doodling on a napkin in a restaurant or something to that effect?
Well, usually when I go out, if I have a paper napkin and a pen, I'll draw caricatures of people sitting around me or people that walk in and have fun with it. And I guess the guys knew that. So Ken Waller and Arnold and I think Ken Sprague said, "Can you do a logo for the gym?" I said, "I don't know. What do you want?" They said, "Oh, something that looks like Mr. Clean." I said, "Yeah, I can do that." So I drew it up on a napkin and they had it down to where I wanted it. We met the bar a little bit, took it to the printer, and they printed up about, oh my God, it could have been about 144 shirts. And within 3 days, they were sold out.
Wow.
So they just kept reordering by the tons, and they just kept selling them by the, over time, by the millions.
Do you have the original napkin?
I do.
Do you really? Wow.
I have the original pen.
No kidding. You know, I talked to Pete. I interviewed Pete Grimkowski some years ago, and he told me when he really had Gold's going at its zenith, he said the merchandising throughout 1,100 facility stores in the world generated far more revenue than the actual gyms.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
Especially the shirts. So that is
that's what kept them in business.
Wow. And how did you was it Joe Gold who asked you to do you did the gorilla for Worlds too?
Well, the story behind that is that Joe sold the gym, and then the gym sold a couple of times after with my logo. And then Joe Gold was a merchant marine, and he went out to sea, and he came back. And he said, "I want my gym back," but he says, "I can't open it under my name because it's a conflict." So he built a lot of buildings in Santa Monica. He could build stuff out of that cinder block like you couldn't believe. It's just perfect. So he built a gym right across the street from me where my apartment was, and that was the first World Gym in 1976. So he asked me, he said, "Would you do me a logo for the gym?" I said, "Of course I would. What do you want?" He says, "Oh, just trying to get comfortable." He says, "I don't know, maybe a gorilla." I said, "Yeah, let me go take a look at my mother-in-law to see what it looks like." And then
just so people are clear tonight, and you're doing a really nice service because I know you don't feel too great. Rick has had, listen, we were talking, I asked him, what was worse, getting pounded in wrestling for years and years, or pounding heavy weights behind the neck and all that crazy stuff from back in the day? And what did you say was probably the wrestling, right?
Well, you're going into the ring every night for 15, 20 minutes. And you're in there with people you don't even know because they book you ever different. Everybody works a little different. Some are stiff, some are not. Some want to show you a lesson. Some want to beat up on you. Some don't. They'll work with you. So you're putting yourself at risk every time. It's like having a car accident, being thrown into the ropes, over the ropes, up and down, getting body slammed, the elbows in the throat. And so when you get done with the match, it's good. You just pray to God that you survived. Even though, it's a work, and what it is, it's a lot of work. Your timing has to be perfect, and it's just hard on the body.
Rick, I live here in Connecticut. I'm not far from Vince McMahon. And when I was a kid, I'm 56 now, but when I was 15, Chief Jay Strongbow was working out in our gym, and I just went up to him. I didn't know any better. I said, "Hey, is that stuff real?" And he gave me a look that could have, he wasn't happy about that question.
He was a tough guy.
Oh yeah, he was a tough guy. Rick Steamboat, the Samoans, they were all in our gym, and but I listen, the athleticism, just the flips and the falls and the things you guys got to do, it's got to be real. I mean, you may not be foes for real, right? But the rest of it,
it's ballet with violence.
Ballet with violence. That's good.
It's not a matter of who wins. It's a matter of how you run the show and tell the story that you tell to build your character. And you might not always win. You might not always lose, but you got to tell a good story.
Right. Would you say being good at wrestling was more important to have a lot of muscle or have technique, or both? Because I think technique is extremely important.
You had to have both. But back in the days when I started, I had a really good body. I mean, I was like one of the top guys. And they didn't see that in wrestling because they didn't have any. And when I met the promoter and Mae Young, who trained me, she says, "Wow, you look great." And the promoter says, "You need to gain some weight. I want you to put on about 20 pounds and look like a wrestler." I said, "I don't want to put on 20 pounds.
Isn't it like just weight, just fat?"
Yeah, I don't want a big belly and all that shit. You got enough of those. Just take me for what I am.
Now, your trainer was Mae Young. She was very, very famous, and very strong too, right?
Yeah, she was tough.
How did you feel about being trained under a woman? And no sexism intended, but back then especially.
I didn't mind a bit because I knew she was good at what she did.
And she helped you.
Yeah, big time. They have a lot of respect for her.
How do you compare wrestling today to back then?
Today, it's like hijinks of gymnasts.
It is. So it's probably not as pure or real, perhaps.
Well, they don't do anything like we used to do. I don't think they want to know a step over toe hold from a headlock. Running the ropes and picking the guy up and slamming him, chasing him down, hitting him with a chair and doing stupid shit. When you get down to wrestling, you have holds you have to execute, and you want to get a submission if you can, but they don't even know how to do that.
No kidding.
No.
And in your training, so you trained with Arnold, you trained with Ken Waller, Roger Khaled, the whole crew. What was that like? You got any, one or two good stories that would be pointed at this point that you haven't told at least a million times?
Well, I trained with Arnold, and we became friends. And he'd come by my apartment in the morning, honk, and pick me up, and go to Zucchi's Deli on 4th and Wilshire, or 5th and Wilshire, for breakfast, which everybody hung out. It was a popular deli there. And then we hit over to Gold's and we work out, and then head down to the beach and lay out in the sun. I enjoyed it because he had a good sense of humor and he was fun to be around. So I would kid around with him during the workout. We'd kid back and forth. And I found him going on talk shows when he was later. He was using all my catchphrases.
Was he? Did he give you a little kickback for that? Or?
No, he took all the credit.
was Arnold really as serious and intense and focused training as we've all heard? Because you see, he's very jocular and funny in between, but when it came time to be serious, that was it.
Oh yeah, for on the sets and reps, he was very serious.
He was.
Yeah.
And did he go? He didn't go as heavy. I mean, in getting his mass originally, he did go heavy, of course, but later on, it wasn't so heavy, was it?
He was pretty heavy all the time, and I remember.
No, it was heavy enough. And you were also designated at something a lot of people don't know is something called the Demi Hulk.
I was. I still am.
What was that all about? Because you did a lot of stuntman work and also acting in Hollywood.
Well, Lou Ferrigno came up to me one day and he says, they're looking for a middle Hulk for my TV show called the Demi Hulk between Bixby and me. And that guy gets stuck in the middle. He's half Hulk and half human. He says, and I think you're perfect, so I want you to meet the producers. So I went to the Universal and I met the guy and he looked at me and he said, oh my God, you look like Bill and Lou had a baby.
Like a combination.
Yeah. So I said, that's great. He said, so I'm going to hire you for this show and I want you to play that part.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Did you work with Bill Bixby too?
Yeah.
So
they cut my hair like Bill. They sent me to his barber.
Oh, no kidding.
And back then, that's a long time ago. That was a $150 haircut they paid for.
Wow. And was this before or after Sextet and the other film work you did?
It's all around the same time. I mean, I don't know which was first, which was second, because things would come and go. But they're all in the same era.
When you were competing and staying lean, much like the wrestlers didn't really want you to stay that way, what was the nutrition like back then?
Same as it is now. Eggs, hamburger patties, cottage cheese, small salad, 2 burger patties on the hibachi with cheese, with cottage cheese and a salad, and maybe cheese omelet.
I'm hungry right now.
I wish I was. I'm not hungry at all. Well,
what's it like now, Rick, as far as training and eating and whatnot? Are you doing anything? Because I know you've had a lot of, you've discussed some of your injuries. You had a kind of a tough road late. Well,
the gyms are closed.
Well, that's true.
So I got some bands. TK Star?
Yeah.
He sent me some bands. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, so he makes good stuff.
Yeah, I've been working out with the bands as best I can. There's not a whole lot I can do.
Right.
And I eat very, very little. I eat my cereal and some protein for breakfast, and then whatever I can get for lunch and dinner. I mean, it's nothing major, just some supplements.
We've got a couple of comments here. Let's see. I followed Rick in wrestling and, of course, in magazines and Weider Mags. He is a part of the iconic era with Schwarzenegger, Draper Zane, Don Peters, all of them. Ric Drasin is a legend. He's a guy you would want to sit and have a beer with or a protein shake and shoot the shit. Smart guy, and would love to pick his brain and hear stories of the golden days. What would you like to pick out of his brain?
I'll tell you something, Michael. There's no brain left.
Do you feel like it's been a life well lived? But do you feel you have a lot more gas in the tank? I mean, they say scar tissue is stronger than healthy tissue, but it's not as functional. I mean, do you have a lot of pain? You're not like Ronnie Coleman, I hope.
What's your question?
No, as far as being beat up. I mean, do you feel beat up from everything you've done, or the body doesn't function as well?
I have to get out of bed one body part at a time.
It's slow.
That's me: feet, legs, arms, body, and neck and head. Everybody up.
That's it.
Yeah, I feel beat up. I can right now. I can hardly sit on this stool. It's killing my hips. The knee replacement. I had torn both quads in 2001, so I had those replaced.
Wow.
I ripped my right tricep, and then a couple of other minor injuries, and then I had a knee replacement about 3 years ago, maybe 3.5, and it went bad. The metal in my knee right now is kind of like disintegrating and metal's going through my body.
Yeah, I
But
remember that.
I can't get a doctor to want to do anything about it. No one wants to work on it.
They don't want it. It's too risky,
Crazy.
or
Well, the virus, I don't want to go in the hospital.
oh,
Anyway.
right. Hey Rick, as far as you still do autograph, you draw the Gold's logo for people and autograph if they want.
Yeah.
Can you tell people how they can get that if they want that?
I do a lot of those. Wish these women would leave me alone. No, that's not important. I draw quite a few, and they can order it off my website. And it's actual logo of Gold's that I did back in the day, and then I autograph it and put my own signature on it.
That's very cool. I think I'm going to order one of those. So what do you got coming up now? You do 3 to 4 videos a week on Rick's Corner, and how do you get your guests? I know you have Brignoli on there a lot. He's fantastic.
Yeah, Doug's smart. He's we don't agree on a lot of things. He's very literal.
What's an example of what you don't agree on with Doug? Because I read a lot of his stuff and his physics and everything.
He was telling me the tricep kickbacks don't do anything. They don't work the triceps. I said, yes, they do. He says, no, they don't. He says, no, they don't work them. It's not the lever or the weight resistance. It's not working. Well, I certainly get a good pump off them.
You know,
so there's always there.
Yeah, I quote Frank Zane on stuff like that, and Zane says, I don't care what the scientists, what the trainers, what the textbooks say. If I'm doing something and they say it's wrong, but it's not doing me any harm and I'm getting results, I'm going to do it. So, you know, you got guys.
Exactly.
You agree with that?
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, if you're bailing,
you don't go to the doctor and he doesn't give everybody the same medicine. It depends on what's wrong with them, what they have. And you can't do that for bodybuilding. You can't get people the same exercise if it doesn't work for them.
No.
You got to be able to feel it. You got to be able to feel those reps up and down and know that you're working the right muscle. Close your mind and just think about getting that rep into the muscle. Other people just throw the weight up and they say, well, I don't know they don't know what it's supposed to do. So you have to have a feel.
Do you see a lot of that now, Rick? I do, as far as people just throwing weight around, you know, kind of going around the muscle and working the joints. You know, people trying to get big too quick. You know, there's no mind-muscle connection.
Yeah. They think that they're going to get big. They're going to pop some steroids and they're going to get even bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't have anything against steroids at all.
No.
I've used them in the past, and I take testosterone now at my age because I'm 4 years away from 80. And produce it like you used to, but you're not going to take it crazy because it's not going to make you a champion overnight if you don't train right and you don't eat right.
You know,
that's the problem.
I was talking with Bill. Just talking with Bill Grant the other day, and he was agreeing. You know, a kid will come up to him and they don't ask about training or food or supplements. The first question is drugs. You know, number one, why would somebody ask anybody that? But that's, you know, people want to skip all the hard work that you enjoyed. You've enjoyed this course except for the pain, but you know, the long life and course. What's some good advice for people's longevity that you would give looking back over your many years?
Well, my mom made it till 97. But I can't attribute that to anything other than good genetics because she didn't eat right and she didn't drink any water. But I think drinking a lot of water and eating properly with your vitamins and all the stuff you need to take. I mean, I take folic acid and D3 and magnesium and all that stuff that's important.
Good. Yes, very.
And then I take a lot of supplements from old school labs that they have the best that I've ever taken. I think that works together. And then getting sleep.
You work with Jerry Branham at all?
Occasionally, it's hard to get him over here. He doesn't like to come to the valley.
Oh no, he's very knowledgeable. Lance Stranahan, did Rick ever train or hang out with Dave Draper? Any comments on Dave? Did he know him when Dave was having some issues with drinking, etc.?
Yes, I knew Dave very well. He trained at the same time I did in the gym most of the time, and he had a couple of T-shirts he wouldn't wear. He says that they're too risque, but he says, I know you will, so he gave them to me. He'd come in the gym sometimes stoned, and he'll admit it, and he'll train so hard. I mean, he has such muscle and tendon strength that weights meant nothing to him. It's just easy. He told me on something on curls one time to stop using that weight. He says, you're going to turn your bicep into a peanut. Don't overtrain it. And then he had built some furniture that he made out of wood out of the Santa Monica Pier or the Ocean Park Pier, and beautiful, beautiful furniture, table and chairs and bedroom sets and dinette sets and all that. And he'd take the wood home from the pier by himself, the big logs, cut them up, make furniture, and then he moved one over to Ed Giuliani's house, and Ed wanted to move it to Zabel's house next door. So it took 5 of us to go over there and lift the table.
Wow.
So Ed's wife said, "What is wrong with you guys?" Dave brought this over by himself and set it in her house.
I know he made Arnold's bed. I remember reading about that. Here's a couple more questions. I know you've got a little discomfort, Rick. Hey, Rick, what's your favorite exercise for hips and low back?
If I had one, I wouldn't be in pain in my hips right now. I don't know. I can't squat because of my knees, so that's out of the question. Lower back would be hyperextensions, I'm sure. I can't deadlift either. I can't do anything on that one leg.
What do you think about today's Olympia?
You know what? I don't even know. I don't watch it. I don't know much about it. I don't know who those people are.
Can you tell me who won any of the guys in the past 3 years?
No.
I can't either. Hey, all due respect, I just don't have any interest for it. You know, I don't personally. What is your the most memorable moment or story you have from the golden era that stands out in your mind?
Getting laid off the beaches in Santa Monica.
Getting laid at the beaches in Santa Monica.
It was too easy back then.
Yeah, it was too easy back then. I've heard that about
a bathing suit, and you just said you or you. Well, who's going home with me? And you just
wow,
that was the way it worked.
That sounds like an Arnold approach.
Yeah, we all did it.
Oh, no kidding. I missed that era. I didn't have any kind of luck like that.
We go to the nightclubs at night, and we'd take a girl that we liked, thought we liked. We pull her outside by the overhead light where they check IDs. And we gave her what we called the light test. If she passed the light test, she was okay. If she didn't, we just threw her back in, like throwing a fish back in the water.
Well, what did you have to pass for the light test?
It had to be at least good looking, but you can't tell.
You couldn't have any alcohol in you to determine that.
I went out, and I ended up being a guy. I tossed him
out. Let's see. Anything else here? Dave Draper. I got a couple up here. Golden era. That sounds like some, Roger Callard told me a story how he was with Arnold and they went in, it was before a contest. They went into a party, they ate cake in front of everyone just to psych them out. And then they went outside and vomited it up. But they would do things like that. That kind of sounds like, the same bracket you're talking about right there. Maybe
that doesn't surprise me at all. I would get a wedding cake or somewhere I was invited to and bring it home. And I'd chew it up over the sink and then spit it out, so I wouldn't have to swallow it.
So, and that would sate your hunger.
Yeah, no, it didn't work because swallowing the cake is the best part. Eating it and spitting it out, you're getting nothing out of it.
But as long as you don't have to get married, if it's wedding cake, right?
Yeah.
Just take the cake and avoid that. Hey, listen. One thing about me, Rick. I know you have 2 sons, but I never had any kids. So when I die, it's gonna be like I was never here. No DNA, nothing.
And I got kids. I got 2 sons and a daughter and 6 grandkids.
Wow. Didn't your one son you did have him in wrestling for a while, right?
Yeah, Shane. Yeah, he wrestled for about 4 years. He lifted with me every day, and now he's married with 2 little daughters. And he's a musician, and he composes for television, radio, and film.
Wow.
Very well.
Are you still involved with television or any kind of work at all?
Yeah, I watch it at night for a couple hours.
Let's see.
No, I don't want to. I have no desire to go back into business and do acting anymore. It's just not what it used to be. I'm not going to schlep all over town just to go to an audition and say, "Hi, I'm Ric Drasin," and then come home through 2 hours of traffic.
I was just watching a Stallone interview, and he was saying it's so hard to get things done there now. Kind of echoes what you're saying. Another question, Rick. Did your diet change from when you were wrestling as opposed to just bodybuilding, as in more carbohydrates, for example?
No, it's always been the same regardless.
Same. So Sergio, the baseball player, stick to what you're doing. Don't get fancy. Listen to Rick, like we were telling you.
Too many scientists out there. You got to eat this. What's your macros? And I don't even know what a macro is. I have macro lens on my camera. I don't
Well,
know.
these guys, they come forth with, this hexose monophosphate shunt and Krebs cycle and glycolysis, and that's not helpful to anybody. It's good that you know those things, but you don't need to know that. And just like you said earlier, the things that worked for you 40 years ago, evolutionarily speaking, the body doesn't change that quickly. So the same things work today, I would say. Correct? I mean,
The body has been around for years. Why wouldn't it work?
yeah, no. Well, everybody's trying to sell something.
They
I'm
always
sorry.
in my ass. They have new techniques. There's new foods out. You're going to be a lot better off. I don't know. 100 years ago, guys who were working out, or 50 years ago, same body, same food, same results.
Right. Did you know Chuck Sipes? Another
No.
question. You did not know Chuck Sipes. And I like Rick's thinking. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's right, Joey. I got 5 names for you here, Rick. So give me a couple of lines, your impressions of each person. I'm going to ask you right here. We'll start with Lou Ferrigno.
Lou's a great guy. I enjoyed his company a lot, and we've done some stuff together in Las Vegas where I got the Joe Gold Lifetime Achievement Award, and I run into him down in Venice once in a while. He keeps saying he's going to do my show, but he won't come out to the Valley.
The Valley again, right. That'd be cool if you could get him. That'd be really cool. He's still in good shape.
He's promised me over and over, but he's never done it.
You got to keep cracking on, man. You'll get him. You know how that works. Ken Waller.
Love Ken Waller. I trained with him for a while. We hung out together. He was just always very, very nice to me. And I bought a Cadillac Seville from him, 76.
What? Give me one eating story about Ken Waller, because that's legendary as far as
Oh, he could sit down and eat a whole half gallon of ice cream. No problem. Or he'd go eat some chicken somewhere in like 12 pieces. He would get till it real bloated, and then he'd take a picture for Weider, and then he'd take a picture when he wasn't bloated. And that was his before and after for the product Weider was selling.
Let me throw Weider's name in there. Did you ever meet Joe? What's your impressions? Did you work with Joe at all?
I did 4 interviews with him.
Wow.
I know Joe real well. He used to call out here when I was married and ask my wife, "What's Rick doing?" She's always washing the car. Will you tell him to call me? I want him to do some ads for my magazine. And in exchange, he gave me free ads for all my T-shirts.
Wow. I bought Bodybuilders Have More Meat.
Yeah.
I still have that too. I was going to wear it tonight, but I had to do the goals.
I made good money off of that magazine.
Yeah, that was, when you started those T-shirts, that was really big, your particular venture right there, because you were one of the first, right? I remember that. It was like 1980, maybe, around then. 79, 80, 81.
Right.
Around then. Yeah, you had several renditions there. Roger Callard.
Love Roger. He's like a brother to me. He checks on me all the time during the week to see if I'm okay and what's going on with me, if I need anything. He's just a really good guy.
Now, he lives near you, right? He's not far.
He's in Michigan.
Oh, he is in Michigan.
Yeah, that's not too far.
Oh, I thought we said he was in Cali.
No.
And you worked with the legendary, you're legendary, but this woman from the movies, Mae West. What can you say about her?
Mae West
amazing.
Was 85 when I did Sextat. And she'd come to work in a black Cadillac, all kind of dented up, smoking out the tailpipe from 53. Maybe it was an older car. But let's just get comfortable here. My butt cheeks don't want to sit on the stool. They create a suction. So it's too hard to move that over now. Anyway, she would come to the set, and then she sometimes wouldn't show up for 2 weeks, but we still get paid. So I met her, and I did some scenes with her, and she walks into the gym, and I'm lifting a barbell, and she goes, "Ooh, all this meat and no potatoes." Yeah, she says, "Is that thing heavy?" I said, "Well, I won an award last year in the Olympics, Miss West." She said, "Did you get a medal?" I said, "Nope, I got a hernia." And she says, "Well, you better give it some rest." I mean, it was okay. We made some good money on that show.
Why do you think she had an affinity for bodybuilders?
I couldn't tell you, but she did.
She just did.
Yeah.
And of course, Arnold.
Who's Arnold?
Arnold, my last name on the list here, I'm supposed to ask you as far as your impression. Let's save him for last.
I enjoyed Arnold's company a lot. We'd go to coffee, we'd go to lunch and breakfast, and we'd go on auditions together, and I just enjoyed him. He had a good sense of humor. He understood everything I was telling him about fun stuff. And we trained together. We trained hard, and I learned a lot just by watching him.
When you met him, was he first here or was he already here for a couple of years?
I think he was just here the first few months.
Were you ever the recipient of any of his famous pranks?
No.
No. So you were a friendly.
He knew better.
He knew better. Well, you had all those moves. You could have flipped them. Did Franco Colombo's death affect you at all?
Yes, it did. Franco had done 4 shows with me. And Franco was a good friend. I hadn't seen him in almost 40, 50 years, and he came to my house, and he was just like we just met.
Wow.
Like yesterday.
Wow. Yeah, I saw those shows. That was shocking. What about, and another question, the Mentor brothers, any dealings with them?
I never knew much about them at all. People ask me, but I don't remember much about them at all.
Serge Nubret?
Nope.
No. Mike Katz?
Mike used to come out to California and sit on the beach with all of us. He was a nice guy.
Yeah, he taught, he's a friend of mine. He taught school here, so he could only go in the summers. He would stay with Arnold. They would pull pranks on Mike. They didn't believe his chest was that big, so Arnold and Franco would ply him with wine to make him fall asleep, and they thought his chest would collapse, and they saw that his chest was real. It would stay inflated like that. I know you're in discomfort, Rick. Listen, we can cut it short here. One more question. Did you ever meet Reg Park?
Once.
Just once.
And his son came and did my show.
Oh, John.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think I saw that. That's great.
I told, who were we talking about before that?
Mike Katz, Franco.
Katz.
Yeah, Katz.
Yeah, we were at the beach one day, and we're all laying down there, and he's laying, his chest is way up in the air. And so someone said, look at that girl over there. And he kind of sits up like Frankenstein would out of a casket. He turns his head, and I said, you know what? All you need are 2 bolts in your neck. Looks like Frankenstein.
What did he say?
He just laughed.
My friend Paul said to LeChuck, he's big into wrestling. He says, who do you think is the greatest wrestler of all time?
Me? Who do I think?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so hard. Lou Thez, maybe. There's several of them, so I couldn't even tell you who.
What do you? How about The Rock? He's a big actor, but was he really truly a good wrestler?
Oh yeah, he is. Steve Austin's actually better.
No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in the movies now too. And what's the John Cena?
John Cena's good. He doesn't have what these other guys had. I mean, Cena's, his face, he's too kind. Austin could play both roles, and Austin can be a real asshole when he wants to be, and he's done very well with wrestling.
I have to ask this for myself, the fellow chiropractor. Did you know him, the Ultimate Warrior? He
trained at Northridge. He and Steve Borden came to Northridge Golds.
Good guy, okay guy, hard worker.
Yeah.
Seemed a little crazy, a little nuts. Did you ever meet Bill Goldberg? And guys, we're going to cut the questions because Rick is in a little bit of discomfort, and he's done a great job for us tonight. But Bill Goldberg, I think, played pro football for a bit.
I never met him. No, I never met him.
So where do you see everything going as far as bodybuilding and wrestling, even though you're kind of tailing off? Things are going to get better, worse? They're going to go away?
I can't see any changing at all. It's going to stay about what it is.
You're working with the women now, right? You've got a friend there right now. Some of the glamorous ladies of wrestling.
I had. That's the gorgeous ladies of wrestling. What is it?
Gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Oh, I said glamorous. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You're going to turn me into a pretzel. I've never had a fight in my life, so.
You should sit around watching us because you're my age.
I remember one time I had 40 of those women in the ring.
Yeah.
40?
In my backyard, and I was married.
Oh, my God.
And my wife would not come outside.
What happened to you when you went inside?
Cold shoulder.
Hey, Rick, man, I really, really appreciate you coming on. You're really, listen, I've admired you since I was a kid. I'm just amazed that I'm able to do this stuff and people respond and actually come on and talk to me. And everybody, all kinds of great comments, casting all kinds of laureates upon you. And just your face is burning my mind because it's like the actor's face. I remember you from the magazines and all the different things you've done. So I know you're in a little bit of pain right now, but, it's a life well lived. I think you've inspired a lot of people. And it, you know, a guy like you makes people, especially now. I was bitching and moaning today that we're stuck in a house, getting tired of it. I can't train. Oh, I got to do this interview. I feel down. But you know, I got pumped up because I'm talking to you. So you do that. That's what you do. People like you do that. You know. Now you need someone to probably do that for you.
I've been told this by a good number of people all the time, and I just do what I do because I care about people.
Yes.
But why do I look like I'm in pain?
No, well, you told me you are. I know you are. Hey, you know what? Pain lets you know you're alive. You know that, right?
I don't want to know I'm alive by pain. I want to be alive by pleasure.
You want some. You know what? You want something that's called eustace. You don't feel anything. You don't feel pain. You just kind of, you have a clear conscience. You're not aware of the body that's carrying your soul around. I used to tell my
I
patients.
won't take drugs. I will not take pain pills and drugs like that. So I have to stay with it. I think I told you. I didn't. No, I didn't tell you. 2 weeks ago, I fell out of my car.
No, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I went to grab the handle and I had a cane and I fell over backwards. And the cane went out that way and my shoe went that way.
Wow.
Then I'm laying flat on the street on my back. Now, I've fallen thousands of times in the ring, but that fall on the pavement was not fun.
No.
So I hit my back and my tailbone. And I called in the house and I had my cleaning lady come out and pick me up. She's only 4 feet tall.
Oh, God.
She got me into the car and I said, I'll be back in a bit. I'm going to go to Coffee Bean. Just shake this off a little bit. I was kind of frustrated. And then a week later, I was 4:20 in the morning. I was sitting on the edge of my bed. I wanted to go to the bathroom and I slipped off the bed onto the floor. The whole cover slipped. And I laid on that floor for 20 minutes. No one's home. I live alone. And I couldn't get up. I could not get up no matter what I tried. I turned to my knees. I turned to grab everything I could. Because I had a knee replacement, I couldn't really put that down, and the other leg wasn't coming up. Finally, I struggled to get myself up on the sheet sideways and rolled myself over. Both my knees were bleeding.
Jesus.
It was real hard on me.
Rick, are you on any type of course, I don't want to say treatment course, but any type of program or self course to repair and get better? The theory is you have a problem somewhere in your body, you strengthen another area so you get around it. Or are you using a cane now, or just?
Yeah, I got a cane and a walker.
You do? Okay. But do you see getting, the virus goes away, they'll be able to work on your knee and get it back?
Yeah, I won't do it until I do because you know I'm in the hospital now.
No, I understand that. Yeah,
I'm cool with a cane, and then lately I had to use the walker because my back hurt so bad. And I just bought a new car, and I can't even go out. I mean, I'd go get in my car with a cane and take myself to Coffee Bean and get a coffee and come home.
Right.
I'm afraid to step out the back door right now with that. I'm really, really unstable. I have neuropathy in my feet.
What's that from? Because I know the hands are the carpal tunnel syndrome. You got bilateral neuropathy there.
Yeah, it's the same sort of thing in your feet. They go numb.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That could be from a lower back nerve compression. Did they give you any type of synopsis or diagnosis on that? Why that's happening? Especially if it's both feet,
Nope. I haven't been to the doctor.
Yeah. I see a lot of, I'm not saying you've received it, but I see a lot of sloppy work out there. And anytime doctors get a difficult case, a lot of times they kind of just cast people off. But there's always a solution, even for you. You just got to find it. I believe me, I'm not you. And I know one thing about chronic pain, and especially in your case, and even Ronnie Coleman, and the young guys say, I would do it again, and I would do 800 for 5 reps, and Coleman, and even Ric Drasin. But, when you have chronic pain, and it's always there, it'll wear your ass down and change your personality. And I think you know that. But the young people, they just abuse themselves, and they don't know what's coming, Couple more questions. Let's see. Did you guys ever work in the same territories together? Steve Sting Borden. He's from LA. Owned a gym there.
No, I know Steve very, very well. He was with WCW. No, we didn't.
No. What physical exercises do you do today with your injuries?
I can do almost everything if I'm in the gym.
Right. Yeah, you're not there now.
When I'm home, I don't have any leg equipment. I would love to do leg extensions and leg curls just to strengthen my quads up again because it's hard to walk.
Rick, and back in the day, what was your strength as far as training in the gym, and what did you like doing the most, as far as movements?
My best bench press is 445.
Wow.
I'll never do that again.
You have shoulder problems now?
Oh my God. That's why I don't have hair. I can't comb it.
Well, mentioning Draper, when he was degrading, lost his shoulders, and he can't even use 15-pound dumbbells now because his shoulders are gone, as he was telling me some years ago. But
I could do that with the 15s. I can use a shoulder machine for laterals and maybe some seated presses, but not heavy.
No.
They're just too sore.
No. Oh, yeah, once the cartilage is gone there. Did you ever meet Big Daddy Pump?
No.
No. I think he's a newer guy. Well, anyway, listen, everybody. I think we did a really good job here. Ric's done a great job. If you want him to draw you a Mr. Clean character from the Gold's Gym shirt, he'll do that. And you can just go to his Facebook page, and you can contact him through Messenger right there. And make sure you check out Ric's Corner on YouTube. Great shows. You do about 3 or 4 shows a week, don't you?
I do. Try to do one every day.
Every day. And who are some of the guests you've got coming up? Anybody?
I can't do any guests right now since we have this virus.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
I just do monologues. I'm good at talking.
Well, listen, you're a man of wisdom, so I'm going to ask you, when do you think this is going to end? When do you think we get back to normal? At least be able to go out and go to the gym.
I have no idea.
No way to tell.
No.
Well, everybody's saying thank you now, Ric. Unless you have anything to add, I really thank you very, very much.
You can order that drawing. The best place to do that is on my website, ricdrasin.com.
ricdrasin.com. I'm gonna type that in the bottom when I'm done.
Take it to PayPal where you pay, and then they send me the message that it's ordered, and then send me a separate email that if you want it made out to a certain person.
And who's the supplement company that sponsors you once again?
Old School Labs.
Good company. You like their products?
Totally. They're the nicest people in the world, and their products are really good.
Yeah, John Hansen works with them too, as you know, and he advocates them very, very strong. I like them. I like Rich Gaspari, very good products as well.
Yeah, too.
But yeah, everybody's thanking you, Ric. Again, they were the most excited for you out of anyone. All due respect to all the other guys. I mean, everybody on the list can kill me, so I'm treading gingerly. But again, this, it doesn't even hit me till later, but I'm just so happy I'm able to talk to you. One of the guys I looked up to when I was a kid, and here we are still many years later. So I thank you that you exist. Please stay alive. You got to stay like your mom till 97. So got to get rid of this pain, man. You can't writhe in pain for 20 more years. You just can't.
You're right.
Ric, thanks again, man. You have a nice weekend, okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
Pleasure and honor, and I'll shoot you a message afterward.
Okay.
Thanks, Ric.
Thanks.
Have a good night. Take care.